Today's the 10th of June 2023. And what I want to talk about today is the subject between risk taking and faith. Because something that I realized coming back from my activities the other day was that in order to do some things that, I guess you could call them that they're mathematical unlikely. Sometimes it takes a belief in that mathematically impossible things can happen, and so that people of strong faith it's people of faith are correlated to risk taking. And I had that realization. So then I went on and just Googled a couple of people, and so one example is the guy Evil Knievel that jumped over 14 buses. I mean, imagine jumping over 14 buses and risking your life. I mean, that's just insanely risky. And why? Like, why will you perform such a stunt? And I mean, it's because he believes that he wants to be a part of something incredible, and he was of strong faith. So, I mean, just right there we see that a person has strong faith in God, and he does something that most people just will never even think of doing. And I think that's really related to his understanding that we are part of something incredible, and in our own lives we can participate in that incredible thing, but you need to realize that you have some kind of connection to the divine reality. So but one another example I found was Alexander the Great. So Alexander conquered half of the earth, and he was also of strong religious faith. So I think that people who do incredible things, they tend to be religious, and they tend to have a spirituality which pushes their state of mind into doing impossible things. But like, take that against the point of view of a person who's some kind of an atheist or whatever. Like, he only believes that he's alone in the universe and there's nothing around him that's special, and everything's just material. And I think that very limited point of view, that really pushes you to be more careful and more, I mean, it's a horrible state of mind, but I guess it pushes people to be more careful and more, maybe you could call it lonely and despairing and all these awful things. But so, anyways, I want to read this text that I've written a couple of days ago. Whether it's Alexander the Great who conquered half the globe, or Evil Knievel who jumped over 14 buses, we're talking about people who are deeply religious. They understood that no matter what the odds were, they wanted to be a part of something incredible. And it's the same with all people who want to achieve what they were created to do. When the divine works in you, the impossible happens. Therefore, we are not afraid to roll the dice to do good unto others. And I think that there's also a lot of biblical examples of this. I mean, consider when Paul traveled around the Roman Empire to spread the gospel. I mean, I think he didn't always know people in the towns he visited. He didn't always know what to say and what to do. He just had strong belief that God was leading him. So he just traveled to these cities and just met people he had no relation to beforehand. So if you draw that conversation down to our lives, I mean, just imagine how that will impact you when you start realizing that the impossible do happen when you're connected to God, and by not trying to live life too securely, but by instead gambling, not really gambling, but taking risks because you believe that God is he's guiding the results. I mean, I for one had, and I think a lot of other people too, think that God is affecting outcomes of things. So if you believe that God can affect outcomes, then take a lot of risks, and I mean, and at the same time, I want to say you should take risks that is for a purpose that makes sense. I mean, you shouldn't take risks when it's come to detrimental things and things that aren't good for you or other people. But if you're taking risks in things that is beneficial for you and is beneficial for others and makes everything better, then yeah, I think when you know that God is with you all the time, then you should push yourself to take risks that put you in a position to affect your life and other lives good.